run the audio song.
Okay. Anything? Oh, Zach. Is it Zach or is it Tyler? Obviously, you know who Kip is. This guy right here. The guy that you're listening to, or the words that come in his mouth, are being spoken into a headset that is beaming the audio to a drone that is above the roof of the house that you're in right now, that Kip is sitting in, while you're sitting there with Tim. And it's beaming the audio using microwaves through the roof or whatever he walks around into Kip's head. It's called VoiceToSkull technology. And the reason why I'm telling you this is my name is, we'll say, Dan. You don't know me, but I'm basically speaking through Kip. The words coming out of Kip's mouth are the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I'm a couple blocks away in a house. And we have several people here. Don't worry about that. But basically what I'm saying is you're seeing Kip. You may hear Kip's voice, or it sounds kind of like Kip's voice. I want you to know that I think it's really important that you forgive Kip if you have any beef with him. He doesn't have any beef with you. I think he shared that with you on Facebook. I think you should be friends again, or just LinkedIn with friends. I think you should try to hug him as soon as possible. The reason why I'm telling you this is because there's a video that you'll see eventually. You'll see many videos that will make you cry your heart out. This man, Kip, he's been terrorized and tortured in a way that no one has ever really heard of before, as many other people have been in Austin, Texas, but not for as long. Like everyone that lived with Kip, and some people that you know as well, by a gangstalking/terrorist group. If you search for gangstalking of Kip LaCrone, you will see this YouTube channel, and there will be a document as well. This huge document called Gangstalking of Kip LaCrone and other ones, and everything in there is correct. Everything in the videos is correct. It's important that you spread this around the community. It's important that you spread the tag phrase, Kip told the truth, and call Kip back, and any other ones. And you should spread that and tag it with like APD or Austin Police Department and Travis County Sheriff's Department. But they fucked up big time. And this is going to be something that is a global event, because these devices that are being used to torment Kip, and I've only described to you one of the methods that they can do. The second method that they can fuck with people is not only can they transmit audio to your ears, they can transmit video into your eyes. They transmit that from the drone using a special technology that I can't say, but it basically can transmit video into your eyes. It almost looks like a memory. And it can be, and it doesn't cover the whole eye. It can be used so that, like, when people walk by, you see a different face on their face. It can mask their face. So Kip one time saw his deceased mother's face on another woman over here as he walked by, and then he turned and then he saw another woman's face on it, just briefly as a flash. And he looked closer, and it was just another woman. It was his mom and this woman named Helen, and then the lady. The reason why I'm telling you that is they flashed his deceased mother's face in front of him, like, all the time. Not like every single day, but they torment him 24/7. They send multiple audio channels into his head, or audio feeds into his head. So think if you were listening to 8 radio stations at the same time, 3 to 8 radio stations at the same time, and you had to, like, pay attention to the outside world, and you're being shocked and buzzed and crushed, and your head would feel like it was migraine, and your feet were getting shocked, and like all, and they're just having your junk as well, and they're crushing your balls, using all these wonderful pressure electromagnetic waves that can do so many wonderful things. Without being sarcastic about it, it's inhumane. It's inhumane on a level that most people can't even comprehend. And I'm telling you this because he's been suffering nonstop for 2 years, and he's been suffering for a few years before that too. Bernie and everybody in his house. Everybody in his house basically was gang stalked. This is going to be a huge story. And if you notice, like, Kip doesn't really talk like this, and this is a different guy right now that grabbed the microphone away from him. The most important thing about this video is you don't have to go to Kip LaCrone, like, immediately, but, like, if you're not far from him, you might want to go back there, and you might want to, like, text him or something, tell him to come out of the house, and give him a hug or something like that, because there are so many videos that you're going to cry your heart out, and you're going to be like, you won't believe it. And one video that I'm telling you right now, and again, this is not Kip's words. This is not his emotions that are coming out right now. These are my emotions. But he didn't know that Stacy had passed away. I don't know if you knew a guy named Clyde Boyd who lived off of Manor, but he died while Kip was in jail. He died in January of this year. Kip didn't get out until February. He didn't go to Clyde's house until April or May, near Kip's birthday. There was a real estate sign in Clyde's yard with another Boyd, last name Boyd's, real estate agent on there. That's Clyde's brother. Kip called him and he found out that Clyde had died in January. This is in May that he found that out. And for months they had been flashing, using that technology, like it almost looked like a memory, like a flash of a memory, but it's stronger than that. They kept flashing Clyde's face along with his mother's face in front of him. He doesn't cry when he sees his mom's face. It didn't bother him. It bothered him that they did it to be disrespectful and horrible, but it didn't make him like burst out into crying. But they did it with Clyde too, and they still did that within 10 seconds or 20 seconds of him finding out Clyde died. And the reason why I'm also telling you this, as you can see, or as you can hear, this is another person, is that he didn't find out Stacy died until a couple months after he moved into this house. And the reason why is if you ever get a chance to look at his TV, when the Chromecast is on and there's nothing going to it, it does slideshows. And one of those slides is his only photo that he has of, I think it's his only photo that he has of Stacy. And it came up and he said, "Oh, look, there's Stacy." And he did find out from Tim that he died just a few months ago. Just a few months ago he found out that he died. And immediately they added Stacy's picture to the rotation of his mom, Clyde, and Stacy. And just when I said that, they flashed in front of his eye all three of those people, and they just did it again because we're monitoring them and we can see when they do that part of it. Please believe me on this, and please believe me that Kip has not said one word on this video yet, because there are multiple people with a microphone and they're handing it back and forth, and we'll eventually reveal who we are. But I want to tell you, please pass these videos around, the channels around, but please try to give him a hug as soon as possible, because he's crying in one of these videos and he's calling out to you. He's like, I wish Zach or Tyler would come over here. He's like, I really wish you'd come over here and come over here. And he's just crying his heart out because these people are so inhumane and they fucked with so many people, and they drove some people to kill themselves and to hurt other people or to kill them too. Even the ones that helped them fuck Kip over, they tried to get Kip to murder them. But they literally were driving Kip to the point of murdering other people, even like in a mass incident, like bombing downtown Central Booking, which he would refuse to do. He refused to hurt a single person. And then they literally were trying to get him to kill himself. They literally would say to him many times a day with multiple music feeds going to him and crushing and pain and stuff like that, and crushing and pain, and his dad doesn't believe him and his sister doesn't believe him. Everyone thinks he's crazy. He's lost all of his money in this house and all that, and his car. He's lost all of that. Nobody believes him, even the people that live with him. And then Stacy's thing comes up there, and then Clyde's comes up there, and his mom's, or vice versa. But he's trying every single day, and he keeps taking pictures. He keeps taking evidence. You should look at that stuff. It's very important. But you're in a couple of these videos as far as referencing. And I just want to say that because you've been over there along with all these other people, like Brian Snapp and all these other people. Please let them know that they need to get to him, and they need to give him a hug or something and tell him that they believe him, and that they need to Twitter like Kip told the truth, and call Kip back, and with APD and Travis County Sheriff's Department. The reason why I'm telling you that is because we don't think they're moving fast enough. There's some people that are working with some groups of people like this. There's so many victims, and like Kip LaCorne's document and his work got this thing going. And it's so important that you spread that document around, and you need to tell everybody, even if they're a sketchy motherfucker, that helped this group. You need to tell the truth. You cannot delete any videos or any audio file. You can't delete any evidence. If you delete any evidence, we will know it because we've been following you guys around and we've been recording stuff. So we will know what the evidence is. We've already uploaded every single file that you have and every single electronic device that you have. Every company has participated in that. They have backed up your data. They've backed up the world's data basically because of this, because it's so important that we find everybody that was related to this. If you're a person that participated in it, I'm not saying you are, Zach. I don't think you are. I think you might be a victim in some cases. If you read the documents and see, if you fixated on something, if you're getting like migraines or headaches or feeling crushes or buzzing or vibrating or voices in your head at a later age when you never had a history of mental illness, especially if you already smoked meth or crack. And like you didn't have these fixations before. That kid wasn't a picker. They made him a picker for a few months. He wasn't paranoid. They made him paranoid for a few months. He never got paranoid. He just got horny, or he cleaned the house. They get you fixated on these things. If you've seen projections or illusions that look weird and like cartoon porn and like weird imagery on the walls and on the windows, and like start recording that shit and record it. And record for a lengthy period of time, or try to, and look at the window. If you have any like bendy, if you have any windows with like panes of glass in them and they have like beveled edges in them, pull back from that beveled edge and do slow sweeps, like, and see like if there's any imagery coming in on them. The further back you move from the door, the more imagery you may see. There's a sweet spot around like 8 feet behind it or 10 feet behind the door, looking out through the door if you have like a glass or a window per se. but Zach, isn't it? Yeah, Zach. I know he was strict with you one time, and like I think you don't have beef with him anymore, but he respected your relationship with Stacey, and like he never really he didn't have one. He had a crush on him at one time, but then he was like, okay, we're not gonna work out with this because it's just don't get to see him enough to even like. But he did have a crush on him one time. He knows that you cared about him an awful lot. And he was sad to see that he died. And these motherfuckers put him in the rotation of deceased people, his mom, Clyde, and Stacey, within seconds after hearing that from Tim. So I just wanted to tell you that. I think it's very important. I'm going to send a link on this to your Facebook, probably after you leave. But I'm going to tell you, when you see this stuff and this stuff comes out, Zach, you're gonna cry your fucking heart out. These people were literally trying to get to kill himself, and he's not suicidal. And he's like, I'm not gonna do it. And they said, oh, we'll get you to the point where you will. They also said you should kill yourself. They also pushed thoughts of suicide into his head, just barely above subliminal level, to let him know. We could have put these thoughts in your head with you not realizing that they're not your thoughts. Because if they can transmit audio to your head, they can do it at a subliminal level to where it feels like they're thoughts. They're almost imperceivable from thoughts. They really are. And Tim has he has another guy with a drone beaming to his head too, but they don't do audible stuff to him. They do speak. They basically build his speech output, for lack of a better term. He is not aware of it, but like when Kip is talking to him, Tim drops buzzwords like a motherfucker on the fly because they are feeding him stuff, and then they're making them clash a little bit. So they're making them less compatible as friends or as the people that can even hang out anymore. And they're also affecting Tim's behavior. You might have noticed he's a little bit different lately, but not much, because they've only been on him for like 8 months or 6 months, and there's one on I think there's one on Alan too, but they hardly ever do anything with him, or do they? That's the question. But it's gonna be over soon. I don't know, a few days, a few hours. We're really not sure what the fucking holdup is, but it's gonna be a huge news story. So please spread this around, and please tell everyone, like, keep every evidence you have, because you have been on camera many, many times. And if you delete anything, if you destroy anything, we will likely know that. And the group that I am with will partner with a bunch of other groups that have been following you around for 2 years now? We've been following you guys around for 2 years. And some of you thought we were other teams. And we told you we were. We told you we were this team, we were this group, we were doing this thing, we were hacking this thing. We are actually recording all of you. And we're using like everything possible. We've partnered with all these companies, we're partnered, but this is going to be huge. And we have done everything possible so that even if you do delete something, it won't delete it. If you try to delete it, well, it'll look like it deletes maybe, but it won't delete. You can try to empty your recycle bin, it won't work. Or it will, maybe it will, but we've backed up everything. And I hope we got to see every single device. And I really hope that we did that. And it's really important that everyone in Austin start to realize that if you know about this group, you need to start your own gang stalking document. You need to add any details in Kip LaCrone's document, like copy it and paste it, or just write your own document. Use it as a template or something, or I don't know, you make your own thing, but you need to tell the truth. And you need to start posting a Kip told the truth and call Kip back. Because they have literally not called Kip back ever, except when it was a crisis team mental health officer responding. APD, Travis County Sheriff's Department, and call Kip back, and Zach, give him a hug, and watch a few of his videos. Like they're just fucked up. Like it's like this is going to be the biggest news story in the world. And he was hoping that you were going to come over like a few weeks ago, or was it a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, while he was crying. He was hoping that you were witnessing it as we spoke, as he was speaking that. He was hoping, because it felt like it was like an over moment. He was hoping that was the end of it, and he was hoping you were going to like drive over there, really like just shoot over there and like give them both, Tim and him, both a hug, because it should have been over a long time ago. And you'll see that video and you'll know what I mean. But he was hoping you were listening to it, because, and this is going to be unbelievable. So I know that you don't really understand what I'm saying about, but Kip didn't speak a single word in this video. But I'm sure glad you would like to get a hug from someone that knows that he told the truth. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know it's very important to be honest with people. And he's one of the most honest people I've ever met. And I think it would be a good idea if you and anyone that's been going over to the house visit him, and like, or if, like when they're taking breaks or with him, go in there and give him a hug, and go look at his channel, and like do what you can. Give him some candy every now and then, or take him to the gas station. It's so fucking important, because he's had like this much like love from like people that like understand. And even when they do give it to him, he feels so alone and isolated, even when they are there. And Tim, stop, like, back off a little bit, because like he's not your boyfriend. And the reason why I'm telling you that is we've been watching you, and the group that's the people that are like on top of you, or the person, they're making you clash with Kip, but they're also making you more clingy, and they're also making you more upset, even more upset lately that he's not spending time with you. He's a roommate, he doesn't have to, and that's okay. But what I'm telling you is, and it's like you can tell Tim to look at this afterwards. And what I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying that is, he's getting more and more uncomfortable. And sometimes when you someone do that, you feel like you're doing that as a boyfriend. I would tell you to stop doing that, or back off from doing that, because it doesn't feel good to him, because it's like you don't believe him. I mean, you believe him, but you really don't believe him. I mean, which is natural. But like when you do that, you're doing that while having said words that are coming from the enemy, basically. And you'll know what I mean later. Some of the words that you're saying, there's keywords and they're buzzwords, and they're like basically little tiny fuck yous, not from you, but from them to Kip. And they're like, ha ha ha, look what we can do. Like, we're not even gonna let him know that you told the truth. We're gonna drop buzzwords. One time they dropped like 20 or 30 buzzwords in like a minute. It was a game that they did. And like, were you at the corner of the house? You literally said like 20 or 30 buzzwords in a minute. It was like and Kip was like bing, 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 like in his head. And they're buzzing him like, ha, 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 that's a special word, buzzword. And so just keep in mind that like, you're basically unaware of this, and not your fault, but like, you are basically acting as not intentionally, they're basically treating you as like a little tiny like microphone, like fuck you, like fuck you. And so sometimes when you do that, and then you like give him a hug, he already doesn't feel good, and he already feels isolated, and then you do that, and he kind of gets like this. It gets clingy, and it's because they've also been doing things like with Chris. He got like on guard because he tickled him so much. They've started making you do that to him, ever so slightly. And like you'll touch him somewhere, touch him on the back of the knee, or a slight brush across that of the leg, and you'll hit him in spots sometimes, and you don't really even mean it. Or this, and he'll recoil a little bit, and the reason is because he knows they're doing it, and you don't know that they're doing that to make him feel less comfortable. And I know it seems weird, but like try and just don't touch, just leave him alone. And I'll give him a hug if he wants a hug. And the reason is because every time you do that, you're doing it at a time that he is under, like, Tim, you won't believe when you hear this, when you hear what he's listening to. Imagine that there's 5 different or 6 different audio stations playing at the same time, or like in the video game music. They're playing Legend of Zelda, they're playing Mario, all at the same time in your head at a very loud volume. Not to mention how many other audio feeds that they're playing at a subliminal level to him that he can feel but not whatever. And they're hitting his ear, and they're crushing his body, and they're zapping his body all over. So like he feels like utter agony all the time. This would make many people kill themselves just from one component of it alone. And he's got like 20 to 40 like ouches, pain points, annoying points, like almost excruciatingly unbearable feelings happening at the same time, on top of like all these emotions, on top of hopelessness, on top of, which it's not hopeless anymore, on top of my dad doesn't believe me, on top of like Tim doesn't really believe me. And like he's like, when he tells you those things, Tim, you know, when I talk like this, this is not Kip speaking. This is somebody else. And what I'm telling you, Tim, is he says to me, he mouths me. When Kip tells you things, he is almost 100% correct every time. So when he says, no, that's not, no, they are doing that. I guarantee you, Tim, they are doing that too. This is not Kip saying this is somebody else saying this to you. And I would be very hesitant about making comments because there are people watching you. Pretend that the world is watching you. The reason why I'm saying that is there are literally hundreds of people or thousands of people watching Kip and you right now. And I'm telling you that because all of the cameras on all your devices are working right now, and they're on, and we're recording them, and you have drones above the house that you can't see very well because there's all this twack in front of it, all this waviness that's in front of it. And please keep in mind that those comments that you don't mean to be rude, or you don't mean to like some of the ones that may seem like you're discriminating against certain people, but not really. But like, you know, you have preferences, and some of the comments that you make about certain people, like ugly and things like that. Please pretend that you are in a glass house, and that, or you're out in the open, and you have the world watching you. Because once this story breaks, Tim, that entire document, he told the truth. Once this story breaks soon, there may be some like silent period where we don't let everything out. But Kip is going to be the most famous man in the world. And imagine if you were with the most famous man in the world, and that he's been sort of held hostage to this group, this secret group that's been pounding him. Well, and we were a group that's following him. Well, you get in touch with the high-tech companies like Microsoft and Google and Apple and Samsung and other companies, and you're like, these people have evidence on these people that go back years. And Kip was also like, we cannot delete any evidence. And it's like, how do we get in there? Because if we get in there, they might start deleting files. Or if we get one group, they might start deleting files. So everybody has been backed up without them knowing. And a lot of these places, their cameras have been turned on. So Google has actually been listening to you and Kip on and on. Google has been doing feature requests based on Kip's experiences as they watch him and as they listen to him. So when you see that Kip has a different thing on Chromecast on there, when you saw that video loaded faster, when you saw that there are other things that are going to happen, you know, basically in the Google experience in both Chromium and or Chrome OS and on Android, and Samsung's doing some things too. Let me tell you that you are literally being watched by a lot of people, and those videos will be shared with the world, and the world is going to see you in some of these videos. And just please be aware of your words. You're not. I don't think people are going to be super offended by you, but you haven't been as nice lately or as compassionate lately as far as like other people that have been visiting with you who are also victims of this gang stalking and terrorist group. Basically, people that have also fallen into like the peaking and the obsessions and the convulsions and the mood swings. And if you really notice, Tim, you've had a lot of mood swings lately. You get very negative very quickly. And when Kip is like, no, shh, I can tell you, Tim, you were acting like a goddamn jackass. This is another person. I don't know if you know me. I don't think you do. No, you don't. But Tim, when Kip is like, shh, be nice, he's not treating you like a goddamn dog. The only reason why you think it's a dog, most people don't tell their dog be nice. They're like, heel, or something like that. Kip's one of the few people that's like, be nice. He's telling you be nice and not like a dog, but you hear it because he treats Max like a person. He doesn't treat you like a dog. He treats you like a person. He tells Max to be nice. He tells you to be nice. And he's very cordial about it. And I can't tell you how much pain he's in. I can't tell you how much excruciatingly horrible things that he's experiencing all at the same time. And then you're trying to hook up with him. And then you're trying to do this with him. You're not hanging with him. You're not hanging out with him. He's literally been building evidence while these horrible people watch them, while these good people watch them. And you're literally like getting upset with him and going and like, I guess no. You're very passive aggressive with that, and you pull a lot of guilt trips, and it makes him feel very angry and sad at the same time. I'm telling you this, Tim, because it's fucking bullshit. It's like you get to hook up with this guy, and you get to hook up with that guy, and again, this is still not Kip, and you get to hook up with this guy and this guy, and like Kip is like sitting there, like in the room, and he's like, I wish I could go somewhere. And they literally trapped him there. Because if he goes anywhere, there's like these guys with the drone that follow him. They literally will follow him. And he can't go hook up with him because then they'll buzz. They literally will electrocute his butthole or his body when they're doing that. The last 2 times you hooked up with him, the moment you stuck your dick in his butthole, the moment he put the cleaner thing in his butthole, it shocked him like about like those handheld shockers. It was literally like that held up to his butthole. I guarantee it. So just cool down, chillax. And when he told you that last time, you didn't listen to him. You react very strongly, and this group has been making you act more quickly, more stubbornly, more angrily. Not all the time, but your mood and your demeanor have not been the best, and it's not your fault. But please, watch the observations that you make on other people. And please let every single person that comes to visit you know of the Gangstalking channel. And please, when you see someone like Ryan and other people, please note that he is a victim of this Gangstalking group, and you are a victim of this Gangstalking group. Kip is like probably the most hurt by this, but this is going to have like thousands of victims, if not more. And it's going to stretch globally. And everything he says in those documents and everything that he tells you, like, we're going to change the world, because he keeps thinking it's going to be over. And these other people keep dragging it out. The ones that have the drones on you, the ones that are like making you like more of not your best person experience. But please just back off of him. Be nice to him. He's gotta have a lot of alone time, because when it gets close to being over, and they used to do this in cycles, they go through an over experience. Like, they act like it's over, and they do like this fun music or this loving music or this like what was it? Oh, they'll do I bet my life for you. They do that, and then like they did that to him like 500 times the other day, and Kip was like, ugh. They do it. Oh, and then when they get closer, and it's like, and it's so painful to him. I can't tell you. It's like, it's. We have cried watching him. He has cried so many times, and you're going to see those moments. So just be nice. Just watch yourself. Okay? Thank you. But Tim, really watch those words, because pretend you're on camera 24/7 on live TV with NBC or something like that. Like, just trust me, because you will be one day. There's been so many people that watched you, Tim, and there have been some comments made of you, but